G'day, I'm Kwackajack, and this is a 2024 Yamaha MT-09. There's a lot of love for the almost 900cc Naked from Yammie. And here we have it in its latest and greatest 4th generation model to take out to do a review. Not that long ago, we took out a 1st generation one, which while a lot of fun, was a bit rough around the edges. So today for me is really about comparing and seeing what the new guys like. First, we'll have a look around at its new and updated specs, then my ride out here into the twisties before coming back for my final verdict. Before we start, I want to give a big thanks to Cameron from down at Team Moto Bowen Hills for lending us his bike for the day. He is actually also the guy behind Visceral Visuals, so if you're a local in the area, make sure to go and check out his socials because he is a wicked auto photographer. I'll leave a link down in the description. Alright, let's get into it.
The newest model of MT-09 is rocking the same 890cc liquid-cooled 3-cylinder that the line has become synonymous for. It delivers a potent 117 horsepower and 93 Nm of torque in a package that weighs 193 kilos wet on the road. There's fully adjustable telescopic forks at the front, a linkage type shock at the rear, and for brakes you've got two 298mm discs bitten by Brembos up forward, and a single 245mm disc at the back. It's also been jam-packed full of tech too, with some of the notable features being up and down quick shifter, cruise control, auto off indicators, along with a full suite of rider aids controlled by a 6-axis IMU. This one is equipped with a few extras, including a full system exhaust by local company Kelpie. Let's have a listen.
Ooh, that sounds good. Alright guys, welcome back to the land of Yam. We are on a 2024 Yamaha MT-09. This bike has got a lot of hype around it. There's a lot of people singing its praises, and today we're going to put it through its paces. A couple of months ago I took out a 1st generation Yamaha MT-09 and you know, it was good. It sort of reminded me of like the first Iron Man coming out of that cave. It was what Yamaha needed to survive at that time, and obviously it was very popular, it was very fun, it had a lot of character and heart, but you couldn't help but notice that it was a 1st gen product. You know, it was a bit rough around the edges, and when you pushed it, it sort of started to fall apart a bit. This, however, this is like the Iron Man from the last Avengers movie. We've had a lot of time to see it grow and progress, so they've really had time to tweak it and turn it into what they want it to be. Full of high-tech gizmos and a lot sleeker and smaller. So I want to find out, does it still have that heart and soul that the original did? Now, first impressions being on the bike is that this thing feels incredibly nimble. It just seems so light on the road. It is coming in with a wet weight of 193 kilos, which is definitely on the lower side of things for a bike of this class. It's got that 890cc triple engine that we've all come to know and love now. And I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times, the perfect amount of power, in my opinion, for the road is that 100 to 120 horsepower. And with this thing coming in just under 120, it's right in the sweet spot for me. Not only is it in the sweet spot in terms of horsepower, but it's got a really good amount of torque too. 89 Newton meters. That's a lot. Now this bike has had a few things done to it too. It has had a tune. It's not making any more power, but it does help with the smoothness of the throttle. It's also got an aftermarket seat and full system exhaust from a local company called Kelpie. And wow, does it sound good! There's a lovely burble on the roll-off. So as we mentioned, this 4th gen model is coming jam-packed full of tech, right? You've got wheelie control, traction control, there's a 6-axis IMU in there looking after you. You've got an up and down quick shifter. It's fully loaded, so it's come a long way from the 1st generation, you know, which I don't think even had a assist or slipper clutch. Well, it definitely seems like the hooligan nature that the MT-09 line is famous for is still present. Man, I can't get over how sort of light and agile it's feeling on the road right now. Alright, let's see how this handles. Wow. God, it tips over so nicely. Now, one thing I'm really grateful for here on this bike is the smoothness of the throttle and the gearing. That was one thing about the first generation product that sort of made me feel like it was a bit unrefined, was it was quite hard to ride smoothly, especially around town or in traffic. You know, off the line it was really jumpy and jittery, but this one has been smooth in every ride mode that I've had it in. Even now in sport, the racier setting, going up and down the gears is extremely smooth. There's no sort of jittering. The rider ergos and triangle have also been sort of tweaked on this one, and I think it's definitely helping to make it a nice feeling bike to be on. It feels like my feet have been moved further back, but the seat has been slightly moved forward. Speaking of the seat, I do also kind of feel like I'm more in the motorcycle than on top of it. It is up quite high at 825 millimeters, and I'm actually quite a fan of how it feels to sit on. But sitting in the motorcycle, a sort of narrow wheelbase and the rider ergos really add to that sort of nimble feeling of the motorcycle. Like, I feel like I can really flick it into a corner and it's very eager. Now, as we said, it does have an up and down quick shifter, so let's give that a go. Oh, that's lovely. Man, the difference in the handling between this and the first gen MT-09 is humongous. Honestly, it's like a completely different machine. You can barely tell they're the same line. This one's closer to more of like a Triumph Street Triple that I took out. Alright, so we've got it in rain mode now, which is the gentlest of the riding modes, and around town it's lovely. Oh, jeez, the bugs are out in force today. Everything just feels so refined here. It's honestly really a joy to be on right now. It's a lot of fun. Look, that suspension is definitely on the firmer side, but right now it's exactly what I want, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It just feels so capable. I gotta say, it's winning me over. Everything just sort of works. It all sort of comes together, and man, it's fun. That's fantastic. Woof, what a hoot. I want to do that again. If this bike is good for one thing and one thing only, it's good for putting a big smile on your face. That I guarantee you. It just feels like a really good, complete package, you know? The suspension is firm and flickable. The ergos are just aggressive enough to allow you to embrace what the bike can do, and the sub-liter class triple is just, it's a gem. You know, when I first hopped on, I think I may have been a little bit overwhelmed with all of the buttons and how much stuff was going on, but once you sort of get the hang of the user interface here, it's actually quite intuitive. And I like the different setups of the dash, so you can sort of tweak it and change it to your liking. This really is a cracker of a bike. You know, the more I ride this, the more I think if you're after just like a one and done sort of bike, a one bike garage, this is a really good option. Give me 120 horses, a boot full of torque, and you make me a happy boy. Alright, let's give those brakes a go. Let's try the front first. Whoa! And let's try the rear. Ready? Yeah, wow. Well, I'm really glad they didn't skimp out on the brakes here. That Brembo master cylinder up front feels fantastic. I can understand how these are so popular. I mean, they're coming in with the right price, the right amount of power. They're comfortable around town. Like, what more do you want? It's got to be up there for, you know, best bang for buck motorcycle you can buy right now. I gotta commend Yamaha, they've done an outstanding job. And you can also really change it to your liking. I mean, the owner of this bike has done a few things to it. They've had a tune, bar and mirrors, seat, and it's just, it's spot on.
Right, well I have to say, I know they share the same name, but the difference between this and the first generation MT-09 is phenomenal. The 2024 model feels like one of the most well-rounded and complete packages that I've ridden in a while. That 3-cylinder gem of an engine is as good as ever and has such a usable amount of power. It's feisty, playful and potent. It left a smile on my face and had me giggling with every good twist of the throttle. What I find most impressive though is how they've managed to build out such a great machine around it. The first gen felt like the first iPhone. Clearly it was special, but there were compromises. With this one, it's been through a few iterations to tighten things up and bring us a more well-rounded offering. And the biggest thing for me is usability. The throttle is smooth. In every riding mode, it is easy to use. And if you're in the gentlest, rain mode, it's very docile. My favorite, of course though, was Sport, the most responsive. And along with the slick quick shifter, allowed me to get the most out of the great motor. They did say that they revised the ergo setup, and I think the new geometry has really hit a sweet spot. It handled my just over 6-foot height well and placed me where I felt like I was more in the bike than on it. So even though the seat is quite high at 825 millimeters, I found it easy to flat foot. It is a great bike to throw into corners. And I was impressed with the light, agile performance it had through tighter bends, partnered with strong brakes and a whole suite of rider aids, and a twisty mountain road has never been friendlier. I don't think it's as sharp as the Street Triple that I rode, but it's just as capable. Also, slow speed maneuvers, fantastic here. Seriously, I can't seem to find many negative things to say about it. It just seems to get top marks in every category. I suppose maybe the styling, but it is better than the Gen 3 before it. I think when I was out riding, I compared it to Iron Man, and now that I'm here in person with it, the front does look a little drone-like, but it works. Overall, I'm really impressed at the package that's on offer here. Coming in at around 17.8K right away here in Australia, I mean, you're gonna be hard pressed to find better value in a new bike. I reckon I have to call it. It's one of the best all-rounders that I've ridden. It's just got something for everyone. I'd be very keen to get it up against one of the new Z900s and see how that compares. Gotta hand it to him. Well done, Yamaha. But that's it from me. Thanks again for watching, and to Cameron for lending us his bike. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so, because we have got so much more content coming soon. But thanks again for watching. Until next time, see ya.